Hey guys, Pete Arnett from Tulip. I'm going to walk you through another example of how we can use the Tulip MCP to simplify my process of, in this case, building within Tulip. So the Tulip MCP is something that you can run locally, allows you to connect large language models, especially with chat experiences, directly to Tulip and the Tulip API to do all sorts of configuration. The first example I'm going to show you is actually leveraging the Tulip MCP to do a more advanced action and allow you to build a data structure within Tulip based on some external definition. So in this case, I've got a draw.io diagram of the data structure that I want to build in Tulip. So you can see our orders table as well as a work orders table. It's a one-to-many relationship, SKUs mapping to those work orders, again, one-to-many, bills of materials, and then items on those bills of material, as well as the fields in each of those tables and which of those are unique. And this is the structure I want to build in Tulip. So I could, do this the old way and walk over to my instance and do this one by one, but I can also use the Tulip MCP to do this very, very quickly. So I exported this structure, and I'm going to go ahead and use the Tulip MCP and the Gemini language models to turn this into tables in Tulip automatically. So we're now in Claude, which is my preferred client to do this sort of interaction. It allows you to connect to a specific language model, configure specific tools. So in this case, we want to be able to do basically all of the read, write, and update operations for Tulip tables. So I've enabled those, and I can add my prompt. First, I'm going to add that context of that XML, and you can see it's pasted in there. I want you to take this entity relationship diagram and make the respective tables within Tulip. And we can watch the language model, read that file, contextually understand what you're asking for, and evaluate what API endpoints it actually needs to hit. So you can see it calling the create table endpoint, for example, to go map that structure into Tulip. So you can see even in cases where sometimes it fails, it's going to the list endpoint to try to see what the expected structure of this API should be. And it's going to adjust its request and then try again to do that creation. And it looks like it's now trying again, walking through, trying to create that orders table. You can see the request it's actually making. So in the background, it's interfacing with that MCP and trying to make a call to one of these tools, right? The create table tool. And it's iteratively kind of adjusting its approach until it's successful in being able to make that request. And it's going to go ahead and create the other table. So you can see each of the fields it's planning on adding to each of those tables. And it's just working through making a valid request. Sweet. So it's been successful in creating that first table. And we can come over to the instance and actually see that. So if we search Gemini SKUs, Gemini's order, Gemini's BOM that were just created by our MCP. We can see the BOM items table is currently being produced. So again, if we refresh, search again, we can now see all of those different tables have been added. And if we hop into any of these specific tables, we can now see all of the fields within those respective tables as well. So yeah, a very, very quick example where I can quickly go from something like, an abstract diagram of my operations or of my business system and convert that into Tulip and really streamline the process of actually building. So thought this was thought-provoking. Hope it helps. Play with MCP and let us know what you find.